have their pay not cut in real terms again after 15 years of it falling or staying the same. That's the obvious position for the party to be in. Now, Tony Blair acts as if there's only one option, which is either there's a catastrophe or you cut wages for people. And the truth is, there's a very different option. The government could very easily tax big business, it could tax banks, it could tax wealth in ways that it does not, to find the money to provide pay rises, or at least not massive pay cuts, for nurses, for doctors, for teachers, for care workers, and all the rest of it.
On this question of strikes, though, which he's raised, and the question of whether or not Labour now should be speaking up in support of them, and I've heard your argument, and many people would agree with it, but you know that the stick with which Boris Johnson's Conservatives have already tried to beat Labour with, particularly with regard to rail strikes, is that Labour is on the side of the strikers, Labour is on the side of disruption. Now, I know you would dispute and disagree with that assessment, but in trying to persuade people to vote Labour, Tony Blair is saying, look, you simply can't be on that side because you'll lose. What do you say?
Well, he's wrong. This is precisely why Labour should stop being so afraid of its own shadow. I mean, Labour has, in my view, shamefully not supported the striking railway workers who are pushing to have their pay to not be cut by 8% in real terms. I mean, of course, if you're Tony Blair and you've made an absolute fortune in the last 15 years shilling for human rights abusing dictators all over the world, then advising the Labour Party to scam or is easy enough. But for people who have to go to work for an 8% pay cut and then having their jobs reorganised, being made to work more night shifts and so on, isn't fair and it isn't justified.
What for you is more galling, what he said or the person saying it?
No, it's the content of what of what he said. I mean, the content of what he said is saying that the Labour Party should not support income. It shouldn't support people getting decent, fair pay, not having pay cuts. Basically, it's the logic of austerity all over again, and saying the government has no other option, effectively, but to give people big pay cuts. And it simply isn't true. Labour could win. No, the rail strikes, for example, had popular support, not with